The Dresser Home Invader. I was 17 years old and it happened on a late summer night. My dad and my little brother had gone to a Boy Scout campout. My dad was one of the Scoutmasters. I was home alone with my mom for the weekend. She was already in bed at this point. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning and I was just finishing up my late night gaming. I had to go to the bathroom one more time before going to sleep though. While sitting on the toilet playing games on my phone, I heard the faintest little tap on the bathroom door. "Mom? Is that you? Mom?" I yelled. It wasn't windy or anything. There didn't seem to be any logical way to dismiss it. I slowly and nervously opened the door. There was nobody there, but my bedroom door was shut now. I was certain I hadn't shut it. I went over to my mom's room and I told her I thought somebody was in my room. She didn't take me seriously and told me that she didn't know what to tell me. I tried to convince myself that maybe I did shut my door. I opened my door, feeling extremely freaked out, and when I snuck a peek into my room, I felt like my heart exploded into my chest. I could see a hand sticking out from behind the dresser in the corner of my room. Somebody was hiding there. I ran to my mom's room and locked the door behind me. After quietly freaking out, telling her that there's a man in the house, she finally believed me and went straight to the phone to call the cops. I put my ear against the door to try to hear anything going on outside. I eventually heard the man's footsteps, coming from my room and slowly coming closer to my mom's room, till making it right outside the door, and stopping. I could see the outlines of his shoes from the bottom crack of the door. He tried the doorknob, but thankfully it had a lock. It seemed the lock was enough to persuade him to give up because I heard him stop downstairs and out the front door. I hurried to the window to see which way the man was heading, but he was already gone. Babysitting. There was this time long ago. I was in charge of watching my cousin and his 4 friends while they slept over. My uncle was paying me $100 to watch them for the night. All I did was play video games with a bunch of 10-year-olds for the most of the night. I thought it would be the easiest $100 I ever made, but things took a huge turn for the worse when I heard footsteps coming from the upstairs. We were in the basement playing video games. 2 of the kids also heard the sound. I counted 5 kids sitting on the couches, and neither my uncle or aunt was supposed to be home that night. I swallowed my gum when I realized the basement door was wide open. I told them to stay there while I ran upstairs to shut the door. The door didn't have a lock on the inside, only the outside. I called the kids to hide in the workout room. I shut the TV and all the lights and then followed the kids into the workout room. We listened in the dark as the footsteps approached the basement door, and the horrible sound of the basement door opening followed by heavy steps stomping down each stair, one by one. One of my cousin's friends were crying. I had to tell them to shut up. I leaned against the door with a chair along with a bunch of barbell weights wedged against it. I listened as the door to the boiler room was opened and a few moments later, closed. Screams of children filled the room as the doorknob to the workout room began to turn. I pushed the door with all my might to keep it shut. Whoever was on the other side quickly gave up as we heard a rush of footsteps going up the stairs. I heard the footsteps right above our heads, moving in the direction of the front door. This was before everybody had cell phones, so calling somebody first wasn't an option. I scanned the whole house, finding that the front door had been left open and all the bedrooms upstairs had been trashed. Nobody was in the house, so I called the kids up. A few things had been stolen, but as long as nobody was hurt, we were all happy. Pizza boy. Working as a pizza delivery boy, you run into a lot of strange things. However, this story may be an excessive example of that. I was 21 years old, and it was a late Friday night shift at John's Pizza, meaning I would be closing with my boss. It was about 9 p.m., an hour before closing. My next delivery was a Salgertis the next town over. The drive wasn't too long, maybe 15 minutes. I was a bit confused. The map was taking me to an isolated road that seemed to lead to nothing. I drove down it anyway and shortly realized it led to the house by the water. It seemed every light in the house was on. Upon getting closer, I could hear music blasting from the inside of the house even with the window shut. Strangely, there was only 2 cars parked in front of the house. At least from what I could tell, it was pretty wide open property. The front of the house faced the water, so the road of the driveway, I suppose, curved around to the front by the water. As I walked up to the front door, I took more notice to the fact that the house was like brand new. I then rang the bell a few times since the music was so loud. I was caught completely off guard when 2 women opened the door. One blonde and one brunette, barely clothed. They had huge flirty grins on their faces. The blonde woman grabbed the pizza while the brunette hands me a $20 bill. I was about to ask where everyone was, but the brunette called me cute and asked for my number. I thought I was about to get extremely lucky. After giving my number, I was about to attempt at getting myself invited in, but the blonde immediately did that for me anyway. I entered the house and picked up a rather unpleasant odor almost immediately after there was literally no people anywhere. I didn't care that much. The two women began to lead me upstairs, but unfortunately, the story did not go in the direction you may have hoped it would. I was literally on the second step when the horrifying scream for help came from upstairs. Help! I looked up there, and then at the two women. They were looking at each other. The blonde one very clearly mouthed the word crap to the brunette. I didn't even really piece everything together at that moment, but I still just kind of instinctively knew to run. I must have looked back like 20 times before I was able to turn around the car and drive down the long driveway. Looking back through the mirror, I kid you not, at each and every one of the windows of the house, there were heads peering out at me as I drove away. Of course, I called the police on my way back to work and told them to check the place out. They did, and some investigator guy called me back not even an hour later telling me whoever was there abandoned the place, and that in fact, it was a brand new place, just built vacant for house sale. It didn't surprise me much. There was no party going on there. The same night, I got a text saying, "We know where you work." That was enough to drive me to quit my job. Since I mentioned a possible victim upstairs to the police, they came to my house to ask a series of questions about the people. I have also had my number changed since then, as I want no possible links to this incident, and I want to live with a peace of mind.